Well, the state has licensed the first company to grow medical marijuana, and Marylanders should be able to buy it now within a couple of months.
Couple of months, but the changing perception is cannabis is already evident.
That's right. Tonight, ABC 2 News' Jeff Hager has more on what has become a prescription for pot.
Maryland signed off on its medical marijuana program 4 years ago, and it has yet to deliver its first dose. But there is evidence that public acceptance of the drug has already had an impact on the state. In July of 2012, police discovered these marijuana plants in Nick Dominic's backyard, and he admitted he had grown them so he could self-medicate.
Back pain issue. I had surgery on my neck for a cervical fusion, and I can't take medications and pain pills and stuff like that.
But Anne Arundel County Police saw it differently, a virtual field of marijuana concealed by a 6-foot-high fence with lattice and black plastic sheeting, all located within 1,000 feet of Arundel High School. Toss in 24 guns, including an AK-47 assault rifle, and they suspected far more than a man trying to fix what ailed him.
We have no information that it was for medical purposes. 46 plants, and all the plants were between 5 and 6 feet tall. A large amount of marijuana, too much for single consumption by one individual.
You might think so, but it was a storage for a year until next year I could harvest again, you know. But no, none of it ever left the property. That's the issue. None of it ever left the property. And I never have any guests. I never have anybody. I'm basically a hermit.
Ultimately, prosecutors agreed. Dominic copped a plea to the possession charge in exchange for probation before judgment, a chance to avoid a drug charge on his record. He's retired now, still living in the same Gambrels home.
I think it was mostly the activities of the police that didn't process things right, and the fact that most of the charges that were trumped up from what I call is the fact that I live so close to a school, and there was no intention to distribute.
In the years that have followed his arrest, Dominic has witnessed Maryland as it decriminalized pot for personal use and legalized it for medicinal purposes.
I think they're seeing the light, but they're just dragging their feet because of politics and who's going to make the money when it starts selling.
What some will see as progress, others view with some skepticism. Anne Arundel County State's Attorney Wes Adams is one of them.
Obviously, the biggest problem for me is how some of our existing laws are going to be affected. Driving while under the influence, driving while intoxicated. There's got to be a regulation, and I anticipate as it becomes more available for people to use medicinally, that is a problem that could show up.
Adams is also concerned over the potential for secondary sales of marijuana in its plant form. As for those who think they can sidestep prosecution in light of the pot reforms here in Maryland, he suggests otherwise.
Will people certainly try to self-medicate or claim medication? Sure, but they're not going to receive the protection of a person who has gone to a doctor, gotten a prescription for it, and filled it out properly, following the laws of the state.
It is a legal option for people like Nick Dominic, where there was none before.
Well, suffering back pains for 20-some years and working and just barely getting through the workday, and the more medicine you take for it, you burn your stomach out, so you have stomach problems, and also I had to get off of the pain pills and all that. I think there is a future for it, and 90% of the people you talk to either participate or don't care. You just do your thing and don't be bothered with it.
As for the potential for a federal crackdown on marijuana usage, Maryland is warning applicants that it will still be illegal to transport the drug across state lines or in federal parks or properties here within the state.